This is going to be a bit of a quicker video on the externalization of spirit and governance. Um, so, ultimately, at the core of our consent to modern governance is the monopolization of legitimate power or legitimate violence. So, I mean, really, the only reason people have been consenting to the modern government is because, threat of being thrown in prison, the Constitution is underlied by certain principles, like one's inalienable God-given rights. One of those principles being the right to pursue your own liberty, your own highest order of good. But, underlying that in our modern construct of this is, you know, you have to pay off the mob to prosper. You can't own land. You can't have a business. You can't refuse to identify, if your ideology transcends identity and you refuse to grasp such concepts, you are pulled out of that. If you've been through a traumatic event and the court wants you to testify, you have no choice in that. It's a complete override of any concept of liberty in the guise of policy and procedure being the only thing that can save you. This is an externalization of the ego and fear, and it is specifically a fear of lacking control. If this happens, this must happen. There's a rigid rule set. This is an ideology here. This is a system that is not merely flawed, but a system that I am confident that is designed to trick people into thinking it's flawed, but where it's really designed intentionally to keep people confused. It's designed to keep people, tense, afraid, uncertain, fearful of the police because the police have an authority they seem to exert without any consequence. It's just, the greatest of evils masquerade as a good. And, the worst part is that those who join this supposed good will think they're good as well. It's like joining a gang because you want to protect your neighborhood or something, but you end up killing an old woman or something. It's terrible. Like, you join the military, next thing you know, you're, flying a drone into a truck, right? And you don't know who's in the truck or something. Like, you are picking up the tab, right? Anytime you pay taxes, you're picking up the tab, consenting. If you don't pay taxes, you're not consenting, but if you don't pay taxes, you're going in the hole. Like, the externalization of spirit into government. Because all things are a construct of the universal soul is the idea, In quantum mechanics, things spontaneously arise into being. And considering that we find things intelligible rather than just a cacophony of semantics and syntax, things aren't just waves in the ocean, right? Things have this clear, deeper contextualization. And so when we devoid that aspect from reality and we look at it from a rational atomist view of, you did the wrong thing, now you're going to be punished. I don't think any individual has that choice. Reality sorts itself out. Bad people deal with themselves. I think the system we've constructed is supposed to be a guise that good people will be, protected and uplifted, and bad people will be downtrodden and, corrected. But even that is poorly cited. Even the ideal outcome of our system is bad. Like, ultimately, if you want to reconstitute society in a healthy way, you should want to rejuvenate the soul of those who have done evil. That whom you should pity the most is he who, you know, uh, justifies evil within himself. He says, I'm doing this for a good reason. There's no justification for any actions, right? Like, you can't justify anything really. I mean, it happens. Like, it's hard. It's hard. Um, like, why do you dream? The reason you have a nightmare is because that same government mind, you see scary, you have to run. What if when you saw scary, you loved and you just, like Jesus coming into hell, you just loved and you preached and you loved and you gave? But instead, the system we live under is one of righteousness rather than mercy. We, if you're not driving perfectly on those imperfect roads, we will punish you. We only justify like things in the government only will justify itself. They have no interest in protecting or uplifting citizens. And this all comes out of like how can anyone ever do something productive, ever do something meaningful if they're being guided by something other than productivity? If you're not playing the game, if you're not matching the principle of the system, you're going to be spat out by it. What I'm really saying is you have to realize what you're dealing with when you're dealing with it. You have to see it for what it is. Like, I don't want the government to be bad, I want it to be good, but as a set of principles, I find it inherently incapable of such. It's like if you build a game where whoever's winning has an advantage and whoever's losing has a disadvantage, like it's kind of unreasonable to expect anyone else to start winning that game. And if that game only gets easier for the winner as time goes on, really, what can you expect? Like, what can you expect? It's just easier, harder. Like, who deserves what? No one really deserves anything. You can't justify possessing land. You can only justify serving that land or serving others through the maintaining of that place, right? One cannot prune for their own pleasure. You can't go chopping down trees for fun or justifying it like, we got to take this so we can put this here for your own betterment. It's like, well, how do you know what's better for me? What makes you think I'm misguided and you're so intelligent? Like, I just, I forgive everyone. I forgive the systems, but things have to change, because like ultimately I believe if you look into it, the financial system was designed to entrap countries in debt and accumulate power into a few groups. Um, that's what makes sense. I've looked into the history, understanding the way things happen. If you look at someone while they lie, they're telling you the truth. If you really look at them, you can see it. Not that you can see through their lie, not that you can read their mind, but they're telling you the truth when they lie to you. Like, if you look at the outcome, and then you look at what they told you, and you look at their previous history, you can just see it. You can see it. And it's just, forgiving is the only path forward, but you have to stop taking their fish, you have to stop eating their bread, you have to stop going to their carnival. Um, Again, their only power is the monopoly on the legitimization of force. You have to pay the taxes. You have to give me your ID. You have to do this. How can we um, go outside and above this system? We're expected to revolt against a society like it is our moral duty as citizens, it says in the Constitution, that we revolt against tyranny. That's our moral duty, for the sake of ourselves and each other. But when the government um, attacks, um, like people are assassinated and stuff. But even more than that, they're socially ostracized. There's a lot that happens in this world, and if you're winning the game, you'll do everything you can to keep that going on. I mean, this is the nature of human psychology. When you're bound to, identity, you're bound to the earth, you're bound to these constructs, you're attached. You don't want to let go. You're not willing to go sit near a bridge and watch the sunset. You're not willing to let go. You have to chase. You have to have. You want everything under your grasp because you're never going to be satisfied. This principle that is driving governance, that is driving politics, that is driving economics, that is driving religion, even, is this total hunger, this total fear, this unabating lust for uh, safety. I want to feel pleasure. I don't want to suffer. This is wrong. You have to embrace it all. You have to embrace the victim. You have to embrace the perpetrator. You have to embrace reality. Um, it's hard to put out there because it's so heavy. Like, if you're in a dream, how do you really hit a paradigm shift? How do you really change the paradigm of the situation? Well, you stop treating what's happening like it's the ultimate reality, and you realize what is ultimately reality. It's the imagination of God. It's the truth beyond the truth. It is potential energy. It's what do you feel in your spirit? What do you know everyone wants? I know I didn't really get to any real points. I just kind of um, laid out a topic and kind of played around with it, but I'm angry. I'm angry because I'm so in love, and I want to achieve great things for the sake of myself and others, but it appears as though the system itself is devised to keep people wherever they find themselves. You work at Dollar General, you're stuck there, buddy. You're born to an addict family, you're probably going to be hitting that pookie. It's just, if your family's not already into understanding law or music, or you don't have this kind of tradition, how can you really expect to? Because public school is clearly not devised to make anyone more intelligent. It's ridiculous. College was never made to give people a higher education. Anyone with a half a brain in their head will say, "Oh God, they're pumping out even more college students. What a shame." It really is um, worse than a scam. It's worse than propaganda. It's worse than indoctrination. It's the idea that you're not worth anything. You're not even human until we've told you what's right. It's ridiculous. It's completely ignorant of the inherent aspect of God nature within each individual. You know, there is no autonomy. There is no liberty. There is no room for independent innovation. This is the problem. The people in control say, no, we're doing oil and we're doing oil and we're doing oil and we're going to push through policy and we're going to pay off all the people we can and we're doing oil. And we're doing rigid rules and we're doing legislation and we're doing IDs and you're never leaving the country unless you give us your ID. And it's just, you stare at these people and you stare at these people and you stare at these people. And it's like, how do you justify this? And they'll give you their justification. They'll be like, well, we can't trust people to come in this country. I'm like, well, why not? Why can't you trust people to come in this country? Is it because maybe you made the entire rest of the world so inhabitable, but that this 2%, this illusion of a 2% increase in happiness is so favorable to people? How many hundreds of thousands of people have crossed that border just to have their children disappear? Like, I personally think nothing's happening by mistake, and it's a real tragedy that things continue the way they do. People need to wake up, stop eating the bread, stop going to the circus, start to connect with people that feel what you feel. It's beyond an idea, it's beyond words, it's reality, and it's hitting. Um, you're dying for a cause, whether you choose to acknowledge it or not. What cause are you dying for? God bless you, goodbye.